Completing this tutorial video will help you incredibly up your Figma game, help you get more clients, and also bag your dream job. Now, by the end of this video, you will learn how to do horizontal and vertical scrolling interactions, and also how to do automatic slider animations like you're seeing on your screen right now. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so this is the starting point of our design. And what we're trying to do here is to make this entire page scroll vertically, and this section right here, popular events, trying to make it scroll horizontally, and also this section as well, the banner, I want it to scroll automatically horizontally, and also the trending categories as well. We're also trying to make this one scroll horizontally as well. And the first thing we're going to do is to unclip the content of the page so we can see what's in there, everything that's in there. And if you notice, everything on this page has been auto layout, has an auto layout on it. And do not worry if your design isn't an auto layout design. If you're not using auto layout on your design or on your page, this would also work. This tutorial is also going to work on your design. Fear not. Actually, if you learn how to do it on using auto layout, it's going to be easier without auto layout. So which is why I chose this particular screen, this particular page and design for this video. So let's go ahead. The first thing that you need to understand about scrolling interaction on Figma is, in order for scrolling and interaction to work, the content has to exceed the page, like this one and this one exceeds the page basically, and this one as well. See the way it exceeds the page. And right now, if you play this this prototype, the prototype of this screen, it's not going to scroll. It won't scroll, even though it exceeds. That's not the only thing that you have to check when trying to make your content scroll on a page in Figma. There's something else you need to do, which is very, very important. In fact, it is the only way to do it. So once you have your content exceeding the page like so, you clip the content to the page. So how that's done is you go to the edge and you drag. If it is auto layout, you can just drag freely, and if it's not auto layout, you have to hold Control or Command on your Mac and then drag till you get to the edge of the screen. You see your pointers, the red markers telling you where to stop. You release. So that's how you make it work. Right now, if I play this, you'll notice that let me play it real quick. You'll notice that this particular place will scroll and this one won't scroll. Okay, another thing is we need to go in there again and then go to prototype and change this to horizontal like it is. It's already on a horizontal scrolling. So that's a scrolling behavior. So if I hit shift space right now to preview my design, you'll notice that that part will scroll, but the rest won't scroll. So here is the prototype for our design, and as you can see, this part is scrolling and this other part isn't scrolling, and the entire screen isn't scrolling either, but this is working, which is good. And there's something else you'll notice. If I scroll this and get to the edge, there isn't any padding on the right, but there's padding on the left. Now I'll show you how to I am mistakenly reducing the size of this. You can see the padding on the left. I'll show you how to fix that right now. So what you're going to do is to go to the design, and this is why auto layout is very good for this. I'm going to enter the container, and then on the container there's a padding, which is the padding that gives this entire section, this popular event section, a padding on the left. It also has a padding on the right, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the cards itself, and then I'm going to give it a width of fill container, and once that's done, it's going to inherit this padding of its container. As you can see here, it now has a little bit padding here. Now watch as I scroll and see the difference. Much better. That's what it should look like. So that part has been done. For the one at the top, this trending categories, we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did over there. I'm going to clip this to the page. That's a mistake. Okay, let's clip it. And once that's done, it's as simple as that. If we scroll here, it should work. Simple, easy peasy. If you like, you can add padding to it, but on this design, I do not even want to add padding to that, to be honest. I like it the way it is. I can change my mind some other time, but yeah, so that's it for the horizontal scrolling for this part and this part. Now we're going to make the entire page scroll vertically. Now that we're done with the horizontal scrolls for this part and this part. As you can see, it's not scrolling. I'm actually rolling the scroll button right now on my mouse. It isn't moving because the content does not exceed the page, because it's still the same law, whether it's vertical or horizontal, whether it's the entire page or just a section, still the same law, still the same rules. Make sure the content exceeds the page. And in order for us to achieve that, I'm going to copy this entire popular events section and I am going to paste it into my container for it to exceed the page. Even if it's just a little bit, doesn't matter. So if I click this, you can see what we're working with. It looks a little bit confusing right now. Let me just click the page. As you can see, yeah, this is what we have. So now you can see this is going to scroll. So it's just that easy. Just make sure the content on the page exceeds, or the section exceeds the page, and just clip it. Make sure it's clipped and make sure it exceeds. All right, lastly, we want to make this banner section slide horizontally but automatically. So how we're going to do that is we're going to create components and variants, and we're going to add some interactions, that is some actions, and then some triggers with some smart animations as well, of course. So I'm going to start by, let me close this preview so we can have more space on our screen, and then I'm going to unclip this content. Yeah, so I'm going to pick this banner section and drag it down and finish what I'm doing first before I come back to it. So yeah, holding Alt, that's a mistake there. So I'm going to hit Control Z. So holding Alt and clicking and dragging and creating a copy down here, trying to create a copy down here. Perfect. All right, so this is what we're going to work with right here. And the first thing you need to do is, as you can see here, this is the banner container. It has already been clipped, but originally it would be something like this. It to encompass, it to cover all of the designs. That's all of your banners, and they're all going to have equal width and height, of course, with equal spacing. This one's I've got 10 spacing around them, and basically what you have to do first is to make sure that the content is clipped. So you drag this and then clip it to the first design. That's the first thing you need to do, because these banners are the exact size of the Android screen that we're using for our page. As you saw in the design, it fills the entire page. So we're going to clip this to the exact. As you can see, I'm zooming in so that you can see that this is exactly the size of the first banner, which is going to be our first variant. So there are two ways to do this. I could just turn this into a component and start adding variants by hitting Control Alt K and turn this into a component, and then I can just add in variants from here straight up. If I click the plus button, it should create another variant. Yeah, just like that. That's one way of doing it, but then I don't want to do it that way. I will create each variant first before I turn them into components. So let's do it that way, so that the video will be clearer. Now the next thing we need to do is to create a copy of this. Well, we want to start creating our variants, of course. So I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard and then click and drag. I'll hold Shift so that it's to be exact. I need it to be aligned perfectly beneath the first one. So I'll create a second copy over here. Perfect. And then, as you can see, what is selected right now is the banner container, but there are three banners inside that banner. Remember, we clipped it, that's why it looks like this, and it's the exact same width. So what I want to do is to go into the banner container and then select the first banner, the second, and then the third, holding Shift on my keyboard. And then I'm going to hold the same shifts, and then I'll click and drag. And while clicking and dragging, I'm going to hold space so that these banners stay inside that banner container. If not, it might leave. So once I see that the second one, I'm trying to align the second one inside that banner container. Once I see that red marker, I know it is inside. I know it has been aligned perfectly with the banner container, which is that I'm talking about the second banner right there. As you can see, the red line is on there. It tells me, okay, it's inside and it has aligned perfectly with the banner container. I'm going to release everything. Done. That's my second variant. And then the third one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll click on the banner container, which holds every single banner. I'll hold Alt and hold shift so that things are aligned again. I don't really need it to be aligned, but yeah, I just like things being arranged. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that like that. Yeah, that's good. And then the same thing, click inside, select the first banner, holding shift second, and then the third. Then I'm going to drag till the third banner is inside the container, perfectly aligned inside the container, holding shift and spacebar, of course. All right, let's see if we can get that one. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, the red line on the right tells me we are in, and it aligns perfectly. All right, I release everything. So now that that's done, I'm going to select all three of the banner containers. Remember, don't select this. If you select this, you're just selecting one banner as the banner container. Select the banner containers, 1, 2, 3, holding shift on my keyboard. And I'm going to go up here, click on the down arrow and create component sets. And boom, just like that, I've created my variants. And what I need to do right now is to go to each one of them and then change their names or their property names. I'm going to name this one 2, just number 2. And then this one number 3. And just so that things are alike, I'm going to name the first one 1. So I have banner 1, banner 2, banner 3. All right, perfect. So now that we have this, remember what we have on our design over here, that's sorry, on our page over here, is just the ordinary one. It's not a component. And just going to, okay, I'll leave this on. Let me just clip this so that things are clearer. And now what we need to do is to take one of these. I'm going to take the first one, and I'll press Ctrl C to copy the banner container. That's this component. Once it's copied, I'll go into the banner on our page. Let me zoom this so it's clearer. And then hit Ctrl Shift R. Ctrl Shift R is going to copy and replace. Let me right click and show you. It's going to, sorry, paste to replace. So that's Ctrl Shift R. So if I click on that, that replaces, allow that. That should replace our design. All right. Yeah, all right. As you can see, it's now, it has replaced it, and then that's a component right now. It wasn't a component before, but now that's a component. You can check. Let me enter into that banner real quick. Right. So as you can see, yeah, as you can see here, this symbol tells you, of course, that this is now a component. So it has, our component has successfully replaced that other one that was there before. So now that that's done, right now nothing is going to happen to play the prototype. Absolutely nothing. What we need to do in order for the interaction to work, that's the animation to work, is to go in here. And what I'm just going to do, just to make things better, is to hold Alt and Control and expand the container for this component. I need us to see everything that's in there. I'm holding Alt so that it expands both ways, left and right, at the same time. All right, perfect. All right, so this is the banner container for this one. Remember, whatever you're doing, make sure you're selecting the banner container. How you know is the container is you see that you see this component symbol on it. So yeah, beside the name, sorry. So I'm going to go to prototype mode right now, and then I'm going to add an interaction from here, an action from here, and drag it to the second one. Remember, don't drag it to this, drag it to, make sure you can even use the arrows to select 1, 2, or 3. Make sure you're actually selecting the container itself. And what we want is the after delay. I want to select an after delay trigger. After delay, I'm going to use let me just make it fast. Okay, let's make it 1200 ms. And we're going to change this to smart animate, and we're going to use a custom animation over here. So what you want to do is to drag this, take this all the way to the left, and then take this down all the way to the right. So this is going to give it like a almost like a spring movement when it's moving, when it's animating, sorry. And once that's done, close this and then select the second one and drag it to the third banner container. Make sure it shows the number or the name of that third variant. And do not mistakenly select just another banner, if not it won't work. So we're just going to change this to after delay, and then the same 1200 ms. Everything else stays. Figma remembers. Very nice. So go to the third one. Go to drag this arrow now back to the first one so that it returns back, and then the same thing, clockwork after delay, and yeah, everything looks good. Close this. All right, now when we play this, you're going to notice that this is going to be moving automatically. And so to preview, I'm going to select our page, hit shift and spacebar, and as you can see, everything works as intended. The horizontal sliding, scrolling, and then the automatic sliders. Everything works just as intended, and the entire page is scrolling vertically nicely as well. And side note, I changed the after delay seconds to 2200. I added 1000 ms to it just so that it could, slide a little bit slower. It was too fast on 1200. So this brings us to the end of today's video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any thoughts, any questions or inquiries. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do to support the channel. Your support means a lot to me. Thank you.